What's going on, guys? It is Friday, February the 5th, and that means it's time for, you guessed it, my news radar. You guys know me pretty well by now. I love fun, weird, crazy phone concepts, and one of the best companies out there for producing really weird phone concepts, be it the Mi Mix Alpha or some of their folding concepts, is Xiaomi. And the guys and gals over at Xiaomi are at it again, this time with a quad curved display that has no buttons and no ports. So let's take a look over here at exactly what I'm talking about. It just looks like a magical glowing panel in this hand. And as you can see, the display does wrap around the edge there pretty far, and as you'll see in some of the imagery, it wraps around on all four corners. Obviously, having no buttons and no ports, very strange. I mean, this is a future that it seems like we're pushing towards, in particular on Apple's side. They took off the headphone jack first, and now with their new MagSafe, their new old MagSafe, it's not that crazy to think that in the very near future, rather than ever plugging in your iPhone, you're just going to slap that puck to the back of it and off you go. Honestly, how often does the average consumer plug in their phone? Not that often, other than to charge, I should say. But if you could simply drop it onto a wireless charger, how often do you plug your phone into a computer? You guys probably do it a whole lot more than the average consumer, but the average consumer probably doesn't do it a lot. But if we jump down here and take a look at exactly what we're talking about, this thing, look, aesthetically speaking, looks absolutely incredible. And you can see there that that display does wrap way around that corner there. And as you go up, you see it wraps around the bottom as well. Now, there is a corner here. All four corners have, something going on there that isn't screen. But generally speaking, it's pretty much wrapping around in every axis you could imagine. As you can see here, they're putting some information on this side here, and I imagine what they're going to do as far as replacing buttons is having capacitive touch, touch areas there that will just act as the buttons on the phone, power, volume, and so forth. Is this something, and there you go, showing the volume. Let's roll that back again. As this person slides up on the side of the phone, the volume goes up. I mean, look, it's workable, it's doable. Is it something that you would want to do? How often are you going to be experiencing accidental presses on that edge of the screen that you maybe don't want to be doing? I'd say with some regularity that would have to be happening. But I mean, look, this thing is gorgeous. And like I've said a million times, I love seeing people pushing the envelope in terms of design. I'm bored with boring phones. At least this is something different. Will this thing ever, actually be released? What will the price be? Who knows about all those things? I don't. You may have also noticed that there's no obvious front-facing camera. Well, it's because it's using an under-display camera, wireless charging, eSIM, pressure-sensitive touch sensors, and more to augment this insane design. What do you guys think of this absolutely crazy design by Xiaomi? Let me know in the comments down below. So now let's talk about something that Samsung does and something that their newer phones have had for a little bit now, something called Samsung Dex. If you don't know what Samsung Dex is, basically it is an interface where you plug your phone into a monitor or something of that sort, and your phone, instead of just displaying just an image of your phone screen on that monitor, you will actually get a desktop. And this environment looks a lot like Chrome OS. You can run your Android apps and so forth just in Windows and so forth, move them around, and it makes a standard Galaxy S line or Note phone work really, really well. And as you can see here, it's not just something you can do by plugging it into a monitor. You can also plug it into a computer and run a client on your computer. So basically, if you've got a cheap old laptop that really can't do very much, plug your phone into it, your Samsung phone. Now you've got, a pretty powerful little workstation. Multitasking with your phone and this workstation. There's a lot of cool stuff going on there. Now, this may seem familiar to you because Microsoft had something called Continuum, which is very similar. Well, Samsung is actually taking it up a notch because now it will work wirelessly if you have an S21. So just like with the Your Phone app, how the Surface Duo or other Android devices can mirror their display to your computer. Well, Samsung's taking it up a notch and saying, not just will you mirror your device, no. You're going to mirror it in our Dex environment. Now, of course, this is S21 only, but that is a really cool feature. Again, if you want to keep working on stuff that's on your phone, this really makes a Samsung phone just up a couple of notches in terms of usability. I love the idea, as I've talked about here on this channel, taking something like a multitasking powerhouse like the Surface Duo, dropping it into a dock like this guy over here, which is plugged in so I can't really move it. Maybe having a USB-C hub plugged into it, so you drop it in there, you get a keyboard, you get a mouse, it's going, now your display goes out over HDMI into a monitor. That's great, but you're still using only the Android interface, and that is limited. So how cool is it that you can dock the thing, and now you don't just get an Android interface, you get an interface that's actually designed with desktop in mind. And again, I have to remind you guys, I'm sure you know this, but Microsoft had this. It was called Continuum. You'd plug it in your Windows phone, and you would get a Windows-style environment on your monitor or whatever you're plugging this into. Personally, I hope that this just becomes a feature of Android, that Google says, man, this is just good, and just rolls this into Android, because it's a phenomenal feature, and pretty much every Android phone on the market is powerful enough to do this. Maybe not to the same level that Samsung is doing with the Snapdragon 888 in the S21, but you could definitely get this done. If you could do this way back in the day on Windows Phone, you could definitely do it now. And it's a feature that I'm bummed out consistently that isn't a thing on the Surface Duo, or really on anything but Samsung devices. And I know other people have done something similar, but Samsung's like the primary one. How likely would you guys be to use a new version, an Android version of Continuum on your Surface Duo, or on any Android device you may be using? Is this something that you do use if you have a Samsung device? And let's close this thing off with something that might not be news necessarily, but is something I want to direct your attention to. Friend of Surface Duo, Windows Central writer Zach Bowden just put out a really good editorial opinion piece on the Surface Duo. The headline reads, Microsoft needs to step up for Surface Duo to be taken seriously. It's a really good read, and what Zach basically does here is he goes over the fact that Surface Duo has been out for a while now, and the primary problem with it is that things don't feel like they're moving very quickly, and that there has been almost no transparency. We just are getting updates when we get them. We don't know what's going on. There are still bugs. Some of you guys have decreased battery life after the new update. Some don't. For some, it's better. For some, the device is worse. And then overall, Microsoft just isn't talking to us, and it makes people nervous, and it makes people think that Microsoft has abandoned this project, which could not be more untrue. But because they're not talking to us, they're not giving us any plans, things are getting a little tough to justify. Customers are left in the dark regarding what's next for their device. The fact that we haven't gotten any new features, the fact that the Surface Pen still, when you pair it, doesn't do anything. We've gotten no new features since launch. And like he said, there is so much potential on Surface Duo. But where's Android 11? Where's any information about Android 11? You know, are we even, how far off? Is it a year? Are we 3 months, 2 months? How is it that Samsung can roll Android 11 to all of these devices, which are heavily skinned, this quickly? But Surface Duo that has it's just effectively vanilla Android with some dual screen stuff rolled into it. No Android 11, no release date on the horizon, no information at all. I would encourage you guys to read this article. I will be linking it in the comments down below. I'd love to know your guys' thoughts on his sentiments and where you are with Surface Duo. I really feel like Surface Duo being exactly as it is now will be looked at really differently if the communication had been considerably better. So guys, that's all I got for you on this News Radar. Be sure to check back every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for the next edition of News Radar. And until next time, stay nerdy, my friend.